Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Hansa Teutonica. So, while Hansa Teutonica originally came out in 2009, I'm doing the video because the big box came out last year, and I've just got my hands on it, so I'm doing the video. If you have not come across Hansa Teutonica before, even though it's been around for a while, it's actually a worthwhile one to have a look at. So, this is the reason for the video existing. This game plays from 3 to 5 players. Please be aware of that. It is a 3-player minimum game. If you are someone who plays 2-player only, no point in getting this. I have not managed to play this one with a group of people. I played it with my wife, but I played 2 of the players. And I didn't even play one of them as a dummy player. I really played both of the players. What is happening with this game is there's a map, and it seems like it's very similar to Turn and Taxis, where you're trying to get routes between locations. Getting the route between a location is filling in all the spots between 2 areas. Once they're all full up, you then are allowed to take one of the markers you put in and put them onto one of the cities. Whoever has a majority or the higher level share in a city will get a point whenever anyone makes a new route to that city. Now, the essence of this game is there's a board in front of you where you're able to move forward on a whole bunch of different manipulations. There's 5 different things that you can kind of move forward on, and one of them will give you more actions in the turn. One of them will allow you to take spaces in a city that are different colors, so further down the color track. And so it's a worthwhile thing to open that up because some of the cities only have a black spot in them. So in order to get that city, you're going to have to uncover the black spot. Some of them allow you to take more people in each time. So the essence of the game is you kind of have 5 actions that you're able to choose from. You can do each of them any number of times, up to the number of actions that you actually have. So 2 actions is your starting level. If you can clear cubes from those spots, that will give you more and more actions. How do you clear cubes? You build a route to the city that has the little icon on it that shows the clearing of cubes spot. And so when you do that, you have the choice of either taking the city or clearing one of the cubes. And that's the same for each of the different areas on your board. When you create a route to the city, you can either claim the city or clear cubes. There's a lot of thinking within that. The first thought that I had when playing this game was doing that action to gain more actions is probably the worthwhile one to go after. So I went after that with one of my players. Doing the one that allows you to take in more players, that's a worthwhile thing to think about too. So one of my other players went after that one. And so I ended up working really hard on getting these elements opened up, forgetting that there's points for having a route all the way from one side of the board to the other side of the board. A route is a city to a city to a city to a city. So you don't have to have all the stuff in between, but you have to have a marker in this city, a marker in this city, marker in this city, all the way across. And there's actually some fairly good points for being able to do that. And there's a couple of other things that you can work on. And so what you end up doing with this game is you need to choose which path you're going to take, because if you can clear out all of the cubes off one of the spots, that will give you another 4 points at the game's end. There's some circle bits which need to be cleared off as well for you to be able to cover up in cities those circle spots. But you can only do that by going to a city right over on the other side of the board. And that's absolutely fine. You can do the route between that and the next one. That's fine. You don't have to be connected to stuff. You can do that route, but it takes your attention away from stuff that you're doing over here. But you need to do that to be able to put a circle piece in to see when that city is complete. There's so much stuff going on with this. And what ends up happening is that the game moves through vastly faster than you're expecting to, because whenever someone does a route between a city that you have control over and another city, you're going to get a point. It doesn't matter who does the route. So if you're able to control the two cities on each end of a path that is going to be used a lot, then you're probably going to get a lot of points from that. You get 2 points every time. And the game finishes when one player crosses over the 20 points mark. Which means if you get both ends of the city, that then only needs to be used 10 times for you to completely finish the game off. If people don't do that, there's a whole bunch of other paths that they can trace out. So if there's, I think it's 10 of the cities are completely filled up, that is the end of the game as well. There's a few little different ways that the game can finish, but I've got to say, this up to 20 point, that actually took me by surprise. I think that one of the markers got up to around about the 16. I was like, oh, that's going to get across that line really quickly. I'd better start working on this other stuff, because what I was working on was just trying to get the number of actions that I was able to do up. But spending all your time doing that, you're not doing a whole bunch of other stuff. There's an awful lot of different ways that you can play. I think that's the real major thing that Hansa Teutonica has going for it. There's a lot of different ways to play this. There's a lot of different ways to manipulate points and different ways to actually win the game. But you've got to have a focus to get there. If you're just trying to do a little bit, you're not going to get anything, and so you're not going to do very well. But if you can keep focus on one thing, that will do you quite well. At least that's my understanding of it. Now, there is a rule within everything that you can displace another player's marker. So if you're trying to build a path between two cities and someone else puts a marker on one of the spots, you can displace that to somewhere else, replacing it with yours, but that costs you a marker, and the other person gets an extra marker. And so there's this action that is available to us, but I didn't use it once, my wife didn't use it once within the playing, but I can see how it would be used. I feel like this game we would be potentially blocking other people rather than just, oh, you start that part, so I'll start this and I'll wait till you're done. I think that blocking mechanism is actually a really important one to kind of understand. So with a couple of paths that are really helpful early on that I was talking about, if you take one action to complete the path, that takes all the markers off there, you can take your second action to put a marker onto the path. So if that is how you're playing, then it means that you're going to continually be able to get that. You're not going to ever clear the path off, because you don't have to take the elements out if you don't want to. You could just fill up a path completely and then just work on something else and leave that there just to get in the way of other people being able to do the thing. So there is a way around that, of being able to manipulate your way through moving other people's stuff around. But it's an action that you're probably not going to take too often. It's an action that's really, it hurts. So if you're not a crunchy player, if you're, as they say, a Care Bear player, then you're probably not going to do that action, just like I didn't do that action. So the game will play differently with each of those things available or not available. But I think the cost on that action deters people from using it too often. It's one that you can use if someone's just kind of taking up a spot that you really need, but I think it's going to deter people from using it because there is such a vast difference in how to use that. So look, I think that that's probably enough from me about Hansa Teutonica. Please go ahead and watch my Gamesplay and Gamesplanation to get a feel for how the game plays and what it's all about. I do really like this game, so please look into it. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be Gamesplained, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming!